Welcome to another OCD Recovery Instagram Live. I wanted to come on here quickly to talk about acceptance and what is acceptance and how does it feel? Well, I think a good way to look at it is to think of it like this. When you're scared of something, it's because inside you're internally clinging to it. You're really holding tight to it. And to feel that release, to feel that, you need to think of it a bit like, say, for example, people will often say, how scared are you of that thing? And some people that are sort of further along the path to recovery, they'll say, I'm not, I don't know why my anxiety is so bad. I'm not actually that scared of it. And then I say, well, how concerned are you right now between a football match between two random teams in England in 1989? And they'll say, well, don't care at all. No emotion to that whatsoever. And that feels completely calm. Then you say to them, well, how concerned are you about the thing that you're concerned about? And then they say, oh, that's different. That's much higher grip. And I say, well, that is why you haven't accepted it yet, because that's how it feels. It needs to become something. You can be strongly passionate or strongly concerned about something. But when you get to a position where you feel like my life's like people, you can often hear really clearly when someone's not accepting something, because they'll say something like, oh, if I don't, this doesn't happen in my life, ... or if that happened, ... I'd rather just kill myself, you know? That's like the complete far end of the spectrum of not accepting something. That's where you're going to feel anxious constantly because you just can't stand it if it's any other way. So that would be the far end of the spectrum. So you need to sort of look at that. You need to look at sort of how accepting you are of something. And I think that's a key part, because people often go through the journey and then they'll feel lost at times thinking, why can't I accept it? And then they think that acceptance is something you've got to force and bolt down. But you can't force and bolt down acceptance. It doesn't work like that. It's the exact opposite of that. So people often go, right, Rob, give me a book I need to read. Right, give me a checklist I've got to tick off. Right, now next thing. And that is exactly the opposite of acceptance. You can't force it. It comes in stages of awareness that are gradual shifts in awareness. Lots and lots and lots of gradual shifts in awareness. And that's key. That's what it's all about to recover. Recovery is all about that. It's feeling that first you have to think to set yourself up to get yourself in a position to start seeing those shifts, and then it's something that's felt that gradually comes through in time. So it's like anything, like maybe you've had let's have a think. Let's think of some different scenarios. Maybe you've had a dispute with a friend or something like that. You might have a dispute which starts off small, and then you think, actually, this is becoming a problem. And then this is like, let's take it with a relationship is a great example, because a lot of people are messaging me at the moment saying things that in relation to the political climate and the social climate, that they're finding it difficult and having a lot of disputes with a lot of people. So a lot of people are coming off social media and so on. And at first they might have an argument, then they might think, oh God, I'm having such a bad argument. Oh, I'm so angry or whatever. It's gradual building up. You know, there's little steps that add up till they then feel something. And that's like anything. You might go on a holiday and you might not like it. And then you might not realize how much you like it at first, and then that builds and builds and builds. Same with a relationship, whatever. So everything is in shifts. You might be studying about the Big Bang. You may be someone who's religious and you start reading loads of science, and then eventually you think, actually, I'm going with more of a science point of view. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen just in a quick shift. You don't just shift from religious to believing in giving up religion, or shifting between different religions in one snap. You have to have gradual realizations that change your perspective, that move you across that path. And I think that's very key. And that's just like acceptance. Acceptance are gradual shifts. Now, the brain has to be able to sort of digest these things. So if you've got something that you're terrified of, say you're terrified of spiders, you're not going to just be able to go, okay, I accept, put my hand in that tarantula's box, right? No chance. You can't do that. You can't just go into a pet shop, bang, and do that, because your brain goes, well, actually, you are scared. So you have to become less scared. So it has to become more easy for the brain to understand, to be able to then to be able to digest it. So say, for example, you think losing your job is the end of the world, the worst thing ever. You'll be anxiety through the roof. And then you just say to yourself, accept, it's going to do absolutely nothing. Then if you start breaking it down bit by bit, why is it the end of the world? Actually, it's not. I can do so many different things. I wouldn't have done this had I not known that, and all these different processes, until you get to a position where you can accept it and you're more at peace with it. And I think that's very, very key, because what happens is, otherwise people feel very, very lost if they don't have that understanding, because they go from session to session with a therapist who gives them tools and shows them, points them in direction, and then they go, why can't I accept that? Whatever. They've got to understand what the sort of flowing position is of acceptance. You've got to become comfortable with it. And that can be with anxiety feelings too. Becoming comfortable with the feelings of anxiety. You may be just completely so resisting, but then to turn that resisting off, it's not just a case of, you can't just lie in a hot bath and say, well, I'm not resisting, my body's not resisting, because your mind still is. So you need to break it down till it doesn't want to resist anymore. So it goes, actually, well, even if I was anxious for a long time, how bad is it actually? It was not actually that bad. Can I still do a lot of things? See my family, go out for dinner and so on? Yes, I can. Okay, so that's brought that down 10%, 20%, and then bringing it down. But you're not going to do that overnight. It's something that's a process. So I think that's a very important thing to focus on. Let's have a look and see if there's any questions here. We should let acceptance come naturally. Absolutely. We don't want to get involved too much in the process of trying constantly in terms of the internal work. We need to cut down our internal work by not engaging in the process so much. But we need to learn about unconditional self-life and other acceptance, which takes reading, takes exposures, takes practice, takes disputing irrational beliefs, and so on. So there's quite a lot of things there that we do to help the process go along. Cover some of these questions. Religious OCD I will cover in another Instagram live, all on that topic. False memories is unconditional self-acceptance as well, to get under that in the instance that exactly the same as even if it was a real life event, it doesn't make any difference. It's just about a case of learning to accept it, and because you can't accept it, that's difficult, and that's why that's there. And you're trying to constantly go, is this OCD? Is this not OCD? It doesn't matter if it's OCD or not. It doesn't matter if it's real life or not. It makes no difference. It all comes down to unconditional self-acceptance that gets in reality. Yes, I am saving this live. The other one I accidentally didn't save, so it will stay on Instagram. Is there a theme where you fear life is a dream and dreams are really reality? Yes, versions of that is like solipsism, OCD. I did a video on that on YouTube the other day. So if you go on my YouTube channel, you will be able to see that there. What was that question? Can false memory OCD manifest as someone doing something inappropriate? OCD can manifest in any way, anything. All these, so many of these questions are always on the same thing, which is, can OCD, can this, is this OCD, is that OCD? All OCD, all anything, doesn't matter what it is, because if anyone could present with it to me, then I've got to be able to get them better from whatever thought. So any thought the brain can come up with, any situation, anything, obviously we can get around that, because if we couldn't, there'd be no point in talking to anyone, because someone would come up with something that a therapist or anyone would never be able to understand, or wouldn't have the tools for dealing with, and so it wouldn't change. So it's very important that you realise it doesn't matter what you come up with, any thought, any thinking at all. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It's how we deal with the situation. It's how we change our perspective of the situation that matters. Okay, guys, I'll see you on the next Instagram Live. I'm going to be doing a lot of work on Instagram Lives. I was mentioning this in YouTube the other day, saying that I'm going to be trying to put together around 300 to 400 YouTube videos, all on OCD, so that there's loads of free content there to help you guys with OCD. So I'll be putting that up so that you guys can watch that for people who are not having coaching directly with me or coming to the group coaching, and they have lots of resources to help themselves with too. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next Instagram Live. See you later.